My entitled mother ruined my bachelorette party, causing unnecessary drama amongst my friends, as well as claiming that I betrayed my family, all because I wanted to spend time with my friends in Puerto Rico for my bachelorette party. And now I'm incredibly hurt and I seriously don't know what to do. Here's what happened. So a few months back, I had a bachelorette trip to Puerto Rico. Two of my bridesmaids were able to go, and my mother and sister came as well. I asked my mom to be the maid of honor since I thought it would create a closer bond between us getting ready for my wedding. My whole goal was to have everyone get along and just have a good time, but I should have known that this was going to be a disaster. A couple of weeks before my mother started bashing all of my bridesmaids and friends, she was particularly focused on one that was actually going on the trip. I ended up paying for my mom, sister, and my own flight just to try and lift the burden of my mother paying for both herself and my sister. But the plan was that my mother was going to pay for her and my sister's hotel. My friend reached out to everyone to try and plan something for me without me getting involved. Now, I would like to add that I planned the bachelorette trip as the bride. When my friend reached out to my mom and called her, she wanted to help as much as she can. My friend is actually Puerto Rican, so she was going to be a huge help with this trip. At the time, I did not know about this call. My mother called me at 3 in the morning after having that call with my friend to literally tell me she has not been doing her maid of honor duties because she has been observing everyone and everything. She then said as the maid of honor, she should be planning the bachelorette trip. I found this conversation odd, but I said, okay, whatever. I mean, I was relieved that she finally stepped up to help me with the trip. My mom did say before the call ended to not tell my friend she talked to me about this, which I did find odd as well. The next day, my friend called me and told me that she wanted to make sure that I had a great bachelorette party and that to remember it's all about me. She wanted to help me with the excursions I wanted to do and told her my mom wanted to plan as well so they could work together. I saw my mother the next day and she went on a rant that my friend was disrespectful and said she was not letting a little girl control her on this trip and made it seem like something was wrong with my friend and how she did not want to wear her stupid t-shirts during the trip. She started raging and telling me that she doesn't want to go in the rental car with my friend and wants to take an Uber instead. This automatically started stressing me out. She said she didn't like my friend and that she was disrespectful and has mental issues. I ended up calling my friend and asking her if she could cancel the rental and she said that she could not. I created a group chat for the ones attending the trip and my friend started asking questions about what activities we were going to do and also about how excited she was. But you know what? My mom and sister were instantly annoyed. My mom was supposed to plan the activities that we were going to do in Puerto Rico. She refused to let my friend do anything or even participate in helping out. And this is all ignoring the fact that my friend is Puerto Rican. Fast forward to the first day of the bachelorette trip, and when we arrived, my mom's luggage was missing. And this is the one that had all of her toiletries in it. And trust me, she was upset about it. When we got to the hotel, I let everyone rest since it was an early flight. My friend got there a little later in the day, and I met up with her and my other friend in the lobby. I called my mom and sister to meet us downstairs, and so we could go with them to replace the toiletries that were lost and just to have dinner. As me and my two other friends were waiting, my mom came downstairs and stood behind my Puerto Rican friend and said hi to her so low that she literally could not hear her. I then hinted to her that my mom was standing over and behind her while she was sitting on the lobby couch, which I thought was a little bit weird. She then turned around and said hello, and my mom instantly said, okay, I'm leaving now, go be with your friends. And she literally just ran off, and my sister didn't even say a word. Now, when I tell you the energy was so off, you could literally cut the tension in the air with a knife. I asked my friend what was going on with her and my mom because something just felt really off. She told me she did not really know her, so she did not understand what was happening. So I just decided to go to the bar with my friends and wait for my mom and sister to get back. 5 minutes later, I get a text message from my mom. She's saying to me, shame on you. You betrayed your family. You chose a nobody over your own family. I am disappointed and your sister and I are out of the wedding. So I responded and said that I did not betray anybody, and I asked what the problem was. But I was then ignored and met with radio silence. I started crying hysterically because I did not want my bachelorette to be like this. My friends tried to cheer me up and took me out to dinner. I decided to let things cool off and try and smooth things over in the morning with my mom and sister. Well, I went to my mom and sister's room and I knocked on the door several times, and I kept going back to knock on the door. I also called each of them and I still got no answer. I even waited around the lobby to see if I ran into them and nothing. I called both of them later again in the afternoon and finally my sister picked up. I asked them if they were okay and if we could just squash whatever happened and move forward with the plans. I asked why they did not answer me for hours and they said they were sleeping, which I knew was a lie because I heard someone look through the peephole when I knocked earlier. My sister said they are not doing any of the activities that I wanted to do and that they were having lunch and would not tell me where they were. And at this point, I felt like garbage. My mom didn't plan any of the things that she said she was going to plan. My friend even texted and reached out to my mom and apologized for whatever my mom thought she did. I mean, she even tried to call her and my mom just didn't answer. My friend scrambled and tried to make the best of the rest of the trip for me, while my mom and sister went missing in action. The day before we had to leave and go home, my sister reached out to get their plane tickets, which I purchased. I sent it to them and was immediately upset. My mom tricked me into putting my credit card down for both her and my sister's hotel. They ignored me during the entire trip, and now they demanded their plane tickets. I decided to change my flight and leave earlier. I could not sit on the plane with my mom and sister and act like this was all normal. My sister called and asked if I was going to get an Uber to the airport, and I told her no, I have a different flight. Well, my mom finally appeared and called me and said so many hurtful things. My mom told me I was always disloyal, how I interpreted everything wrong, I overthink, and I don't care about her and my sister. She said that the way I was feeling was wrong and that I'm a liar. She then hung up right in my face. My friend started to tell me about the phone conversation that she had with my mom prior. She didn't tell me out of respect for my mother, because my mom asked her not to tell me about the phone conversation. My friend said my mom was talking badly about me, my fiance's family, and how I was planning my wedding. And this really left my friend in a really awkward position. Ever since that trip, I've not spoken to my mom or my sister, and they did not show up to my wedding. I only get a text message from my sister to tell me to pay both her and my mom's phone bill once a month, and that is literally it. But I'm still so upset about how they ruined my bachelorette party. That is seriously insane. Like, why would they go all the way to Puerto Rico just to act like this? Did they not think you were gonna spend time with your friends? Like, what did they think was gonna happen when you finally got over to Puerto Rico? Were you just gonna sit in your hotel and stare at your mom and sister as they complained about all the things your friends apparently have been doing? Which, by the way, they haven't done a single thing to these people. Like, seriously, your mom and sister are super entitled. They not only didn't plan a single thing for you to do in Puerto Rico, but they also ruined the trip entirely. And that is seriously such an awful way to treat a family member. Also, I think this is obvious, but I think you would be an absolute fool to continue paying for anybody's phone bill. These people are using you left and right, and the way they're treating you is absolutely unacceptable. So I know if I was in your shoes, I would not only stop paying their phone bill, but I would also go no contact. And if they have a problem with that, then honestly, that's their problem. They literally use you for a free vacation. They did all of this just so they could go to Puerto Rico and spend their own time on your dime. And the fact that they try to raise all this drama right when you land in Puerto Rico is honestly insane to me. But regardless, I'm so sorry you had to deal with this, and hopefully you don't have to deal with them ever again. If you like Am I the Jerk, you're probably going to love Am I the Genius. Check it out, link down below in the description. Also, go to amithejerk.com/submit if you would like to submit your own stories. I feel completely taken advantage of by my husband, and at this point, I seriously don't know what to do. Here's what happened. So my husband and I have been married for 5 years, and recently I've been getting resentful about how little he does and how difficult he is to talk about this. I'm halfway through my master's program, I'm taking 13 credits, and my classes are at night. Plus, I have 3 part-time day jobs that add up to full-time work. Meanwhile, my husband is finishing a bachelor's degree part-time and currently is working as his job is seasonal. Next semester, he has student teaching, and most of my time is spent at work, in class, or doing homework, whereas my husband is home all day except for 1 day a week. There are some things he does around the house, but not many. Usually, he cooks dinner, and he is the one who goes grocery shopping, but sometimes he'll get upset if I ask him to go to the store, saying that he has too much homework, which bothers me because many days he's just on his phone or playing games. He also does laundry, but only once every few months when he's run out of underwear. I mean, that's near the end of the list. He doesn't even fold the laundry. We've had 2 hampers of clean laundry for months, and our dirty laundry is piling on the floor. The dishes pile in the sink until the weekend, and he decides in the morning that I'll wash the dishes while he makes us eggs, or vice versa sometimes. Or if he needs the sink to make dinner, but it's full of dishes, I have to wash them. Otherwise, he'll complain a lot, or won't start until it's so late that dinner isn't until 9 p.m. He doesn't clean the bathroom or sweep. He leaves spills and crumbs on the stove, which has caused us to have mice, and honestly, our house is disgusting. I also take care of the mental load, meaning that I make sure all the bills get paid, I make the grocery list, I decide that the sheets need to get made, and I go through all the mail. I also have to remind him of really basic things, like not putting a baking dish that's incredibly hot on our leather couch, and I'm talking so hot that it would need a pot holder just to handle it. This workload distribution feels incredibly unfair, given that he is an undergrad part-time and not working. He says the reason he hasn't gotten a job all semester is because it has to fit with student teaching next semester, which for anyone unfamiliar unfamiliar, is basically working full-time, unpaid as a teacher. He also states it's because he's gonna need time off to see our families for the holidays. Last night, I told him I'm nervous to talk to him about lining up a job for next semester, because for context, in similar situations, he's gotten really angry. He only addressed this concern by saying, "You can ask me about it," and didn't even address the concern about looking for a job before he becomes too busy. Instead, he informed me that if he starts getting too overwhelmed and failing student teaching, he will need to cut back on working hours. I said, okay, but I don't know how much you were saying you're gonna work, and what I'm hearing is that you might not really be working. We went back and forth about this for a while, and the argument got heated. He also said we couldn't live off of our savings, which he knows I am not okay with if we're both capable of working. He did say that we should drop it and come back to it the next day, but not wanting to extend the fight another day, I pushed to resolve things, and I know I shouldn't have done that. In the argument, he said I'm going to have to be the one making dinner during his student teaching semester, so I reminded him that I also will be in class 4 nights out of the week, so that might not work. He then said to me, well, then one of us is going to have to work less, and he wasn't even willing to mention any of my other solutions like meal prep to try and save time. He ended up saying that I don't understand his side, but he understands mine, and he does that a lot, and he's really condescending about it too. I feel like he totally ignored my concerns, which is what that conversation was originally about. I feel like he frequently flips a table on me. I end up crying and apologizing, and he has ignored me ever since. He did not apologize or take any responsibility for any part of that argument. I feel like I pull significantly more weight than him, and he still always has a problem with me. The more I think about it, the more angry and resentful I am. So I need an outsider's perspective on this. What should I do? So first of all, I don't think you've done anything wrong. It really seems like you're the only person pulling their weight in this house, and that's not fair for you in the slightest. Like, it really seems like your husband is just not doing enough to make ends meet. Like, this guy is not nearly working as hard as you are in all aspects of your life. You have a master's program and 3 jobs. Meanwhile, this guy's finishing up his bachelor's degree part-time, mind you, and he doesn't have a job right now to help out around the house. Speaking of around the house, why is he not doing more? Unless I'm missing something here, this guy has all the time in the world to keep things tidy and try and keep the house clean in some kind of way. So truly, you are not at fault here. Your husband is taking your kindness and your hard work for granted, and in my opinion, that is absolutely unacceptable. This next story came from the Am I the Jerk subreddit. Check the links in the description if you'd like to submit your own story. Am I the jerk for asking someone not to park next to me at an empty car wash? Here's what happened. So I was on my way to do Uber and Lyft as my side gig in my 2020 GT sedan that is surprisingly super roomy and very spacious. It was early, and I decided to wash my car beforehand, which is an easy task as the car was completely empty to do rideshare. My favorite car wash that I'm a member at had just opened, so I'm the first one there. So I pull in and drive through and I get it washed. After I pull around and park in one of the 22 vacuum spots, I start to wipe it dry and vacuum the inside. After I finish quickly wiping it down, I go to vacuum. So I open all the doors and trunk to make it faster so I can get back on the road. I get through half the car, so I close those doors and trunk and move to the other side. As I'm grabbing the hose, I see a car start to pull up behind me, which is a late model Prius. It beeps at me to move out of the way so he can pull into the spot next to me where my doors are open. Now at this time, there's only one other person parked to the opposite end of me 8 spots down. I pointed to all the empty spots that he had to choose from, and as he rolled his window down, I asked him, can you park somewhere else? Do you have to park right next to me? And I said this out of common courtesy. I didn't want either of us to hit each other's car. He didn't say anything as he started to pull up, and as I started to close my doors, his window was still down. So I asked him again, can you go to another one? I don't want us to be that close. He then started to argue with me and throw a fit, stating that he understood, you know, if he had a huge truck or something like that, basically telling me that no, he wasn't gonna move. He then said, I'll only be a little bit, to which I did not argue and just said to him, okay, that's fine. It's just the principle of the situation. I thought I would at least ask. I came to terms with the situation and went back to finishing vacuuming my car. Meanwhile, this man is still huffing and puffing and griping the entire time. He wiped off his windshield and grabbed 2 handfuls of trash and his completely trash-filled car. Then he proceeded to start to leave, saying to me, see, that wasn't so long, but you could obviously tell that he cut it short and had plans to clean out all the trash and whatnot. I just tell him again, sorry for the misunderstanding and I hope you have a great day. And at this point, I'm finishing vacuuming out my back seat. He then starts to argue with me as I'm bent over vacuuming. I decided not to say anything and let him just have the last word and leave. But then he tells me, you should be careful who you upset and argue with. Next time, they might have something you'll regret. Like it was supposed to scare me and give him the ultimate last word. Now, for reference, without actually saying it, this guy had has a type of weapon that is used for self-defense that is very handheld, if you know what I mean. So when he said this to me, it honestly couldn't be more perfect, as I looked him in the eyes and I told him, "Sir, I have one of those as well." And I lifted up my shirt to show him the weapon that I had that featured an extended mag in its holster. For reference, I work in an armory at my main job, so I'm used to it being on me, and I keep it on me when I do rideshare because you never know what happens. His immediate response was to say, "Oh, I'm sorry, have a great day." He then got in his Prius and he finally left. So what do you think? Am I the jerk for asking him to park somewhere else and leave space? Was I in the wrong for notifying him that the situation he gave me, not to upset or argue with random people, was the exact situation that he was in? What should I do? No, you are definitely not the jerk. Who in their right mind would make some kind of veiled threat against you and not think that you would have some kind of protection yourself? Like, that guy in the Prius is a complete idiot. There's no reason to act that way, and truly, he could have parked his car literally anywhere else. It's not that big of a deal. There are so many spots available. But this guy instead wanted to be a jerk, and he wanted to make some kind of statement towards you as if you don't have personal protection yourself. So in my opinion, I don't think you're the jerk at all. I think you did the right thing to literally defend yourself against this guy's weird implications, because what he said was not okay, and in my opinion, he was absolutely out of line. My girlfriend said that I was being unreasonable when I asked her not to use my Wi-Fi for just 5 minutes, and now I'm not sure if I was out of line or if there's anything that I did wrong, because as of right now, I seriously don't know what to do. Here's what happened. So I live with my girlfriend and we live in the United Kingdom, and the area of our town that we live in can only get basic Wi-Fi speeds. This means if I want to play an online video game, it will only work if nothing else is connected to the Wi-Fi. I was playing on the game last night and it was working fine. Then it started lagging, and I noticed my girlfriend was using her phone. I quickly asked her if she could use data for 5 minutes, or even just wait 5 minutes until I was finished. For reference, she gets unlimited data. She apologized but kept using her phone. I lost the game and then she put her phone away. I asked her if she wanted to do anything and she just said no. So I then asked if she minded that I have one more game quickly, which would take under 10 minutes, and she just said that was fine. After I had been on for around 1 minute, she starts using her phone and lags it again. I ask if she's connected to the Wi-Fi and she just doesn't respond. Once the game is over, I was annoyed at the fact that she ignored me and annoyed at the fact that she knew it was causing the game to lag, yet she kept doing it anyways. I asked why she ignored me and she said that she didn't. She then just said that she didn't want to use data and I shouldn't be asking her to not use the Wi-Fi. So I pointed out that it was for 5 minutes, so it's hardly like I was telling her to never use it again. I just thought that she would do me a small favor. She just repeated that she did nothing wrong and I was unreasonable for asking her not to use it. So honestly, am I being unreasonable here? What should I do? I personally don't think that your request was unreasonable at all, and it seems like your girlfriend was doing that on purpose. She was doing this weird passive-aggressive thing where she's deciding, you know what, I don't want you to play video games, so I'm gonna make sure that it lags. And it's convenient that she was only on her phone when you were playing video games. And if that's the truth, and if she really does feel that way about you playing games while she's there, then honestly, that's so immature and so petty. Like, why not just communicate to your boyfriend and be like, hey, let's spend time together, instead of you spending more time on another video game? So no, I don't think you did anything wrong. I think your request was completely reasonable, and if anything, your girlfriend is the one who's being unreasonable, because I really don't think that you did anything wrong. When you subscribe, make sure to hit the bell to turn on notifications. To finish listening to all the stories, check out the playlist at the top of the description. And if you want some chill music to put on in the background, check out Easy Mode. If you like Am I the Jerk, subscribe to Am I the Genius. Everything will be linked down below in the description.